Welcome to the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarich. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Garrett Blaney, and we have a very exciting exclusive interview today. We continue our trend on the CW train, this time with our very first guest from Superman Lois, the son of Superman himself, Alex Garfin. How's it going, Alex?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Doing very well.
Yeah, you're looking strong today.
Looking
like a real son of Superman today.
Yeah, you know it.
So on that note, you join a show that of one of the world's most beloved characters, not just in terms of superheroes, but all of pop culture. What's it been like being part of this experience in a Superman and Lois show?
Man, it's been a trip for real. I mean, you know, when you think superhero, Superman is usually the first one that pops into people's mind, especially in the people that don't watch superhero stuff, right? They think of Superman. So you hit the nail on the head that it's just this pop culture icon that we're trying to maintain. It's been really cool watching Tyler do his take on it. He'll be the first one to tell you he never watched a single thing of Superman before this or during this. He's trying to make sure that he does his own original thing, and it's working great. The dude's super talented. Bitsy, who plays Lois Lane, again, just another absolute talent. So it's been great to watch the other people on the show as well.
Yeah, I believe it. And I'm happy you brought up that, like, people who don't usually like superhero stuff, Superman's the first one they think of, because we've been doing this podcast for a while. We cover Marvel, DC, Star Wars, a whole bunch of stuff. And I was talking to my mom about upcoming interviews that we were going to be doing. And I told her that we were doing one with you. And she goes, oh, Superman and Lois. I love that show. You know, which son is it? Jordan, he's going through a lot right now. And I hadn't caught up on like the last 3 episodes. And it was so funny because she was filling me in on everything. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to watch it. Chill. And
your mom. You should have your mom on here.
I should have brought her on, but she ended up busy. But it was hilarious because she hasn't been following any of the shows and stuff we've been doing. But like, she was dialed into Superman and Lois. She's watching every episode.
That is, one of the writers has an aunt who I believe is 88 years old because I think because their father had a sister that was way older than them, something like that. But 88 years old. And I think she still sends emails all the time. I won't name any names. I don't want to get anyone. I want to tell anyone else's story, but still sends emails every week. Really like the episode this week. Then, this guy's worked on 1 million shows. He's one of our most incredible writers. And only has she ever watched this show. It's really crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's hilarious. Superman has the ability to bring people together. And it's like you said, Tyler's incredibly talented. And this is one of the most critically acclaimed versions of Superman I've seen in a really long time. People kind of view this and went like, oh, they just did a Supergirl show. Now there's going to be a Superman show. And then as soon as anybody watched it, people were blown away by Tyler's portrayal and the show in general. What's the type of relationship you've had with Tyler and Bitsy and then your superhero brother as well?
Well, Tyler and Bitsy are two people that are they're people I admire. And that relationship, it's definitely beyond friendship in the way that we play family. But it's also a lot of admiration. Whereas my fake brother and I are best friends in real life. So I'm actually going to go hang out with him now. We hang out pretty much every day. So, cool. By the time that we get up there, there's a lot of chemistry going on and nothing gets done. No, I'm just kidding. But
well, it translates incredibly well.
Yeah. It's been really fun. He's a gift to have around. This whole experience for me would not be nearly the same thing without him.
That's awesome. Amazing. Did the two of you know each other beforehand at all, or did you meet on set and then just immediately hit it off?
Okay, so he's from Texas, right? And I'm from New York. So we're from two extremely different parts of the United States. We didn't even hit it off really until around episode 4 of last year. So maybe January 2021. We were pretty friendly, but nothing crazy. But yeah, we really did hit it off midway through last season. It's been great. It's been a really fun time.
You guys have a kind of similar relationship to TJ and I.
Yeah, it's kind of what it sounds like. It.
Yeah.
We try and be productive a lot of the time, but it ends up not happening about half the time.
So we talked about your show being.
If you're having fun while you're working, it always shows. It always is there.
No,
it makes work not work.
Right. I couldn't ask for a better co-host and friend.
Sensing a lot of love here on the Zoom. Loving Zoom. You don't see those too often.
That's the environment we try to keep around here because it gets dark otherwise. We don't like that.
And I mean, hey, when you guys are hanging out, if you have fun, feel free to tell them, hey, this was a fun podcast. You got to join. We got Jordan Kent. We need John Kent.
No, I will. I absolutely will. I'll try to get him on here.
But we're not here to talk about. We're not here to talk about him or John Kent right now. We're here to talk about Jordan Kent. And what's so exciting about your character is he's not from comics. Like we know about John Kent. He is Superman right now. In fact, he graced the cover of Action Comics today. It's a beautiful Pride cover with John Kent right on the cover and Superman and Lois there behind him cheering him on. But your character is brand new, written to this show. What was it like having to take on such an important role of such an important character like Superman? That was something totally different people hadn't seen.
It's certainly a singular experience, right? I mean, the rest of these characters are quite old, especially Superman and Lois, which are coming up on 80, 90, something like that, Siegel and Schuster. It was definitely a singular experience because you have to forge your own path. A lot of that is also on the writing, right? It was a lot of close work with Todd Helbing and Lee Krieger. So these two people, Todd is our showrunner, so he's kind of the boss in charge of the project. And Lee Krieger was our executive producer and director of the first 2 episodes. And then he leaves the show. He does that for a lot of shows. He makes them look beautiful, gives them the vibe, and then he dips. It's a great job, honestly. But it was a lot of work with those two to make sure that this character fit into the mythos that spans back so far. You know, you can see a lot of similarities between, I believe, comic John Kent and Jordan in the TV show. In fact, I think a lot of times he's almost a little more similar than our John Kent. Our John Kent almost seems like just as much of an invention as Jordan sometimes, which is also just very interesting, just seeing that kind of role split between the two of us.
Did you have get any advice from Tyler about forging your own path in this role? Because that's kind of something that you mentioned that he tried to do actively by not watching anything and just being his own thing. So did he give you any advice to do that yourself? You know,
Tyler, the first thing I ever asked this dude, besides a screen test when I was too scared to talk to anyone, I remember I was like talking, I drank 5-hour energies and went in there like zipping to try to get out. I was like, it's a good day, Jordan Kent. Okay, what is this show?
It worked.
DW. But I'm sure they had a nice long talk of like, is this guy, is he
stable?
Is he stable? No, but the first thing I asked Tyler was not really even just about that. The first day I saw him, I went, all right, how do you do the laser eyes and not look ridiculous? Because I had to do it first episode, right? And sitting at the bonfire, and then I'm on my side going, and it zips right out of my face. They call it an ocular discharge in the show. We always make fun of it. The show always makes fun of itself on that one.
Sounds like you have pink eye.
I'm sorry?
Sounds like you have pink eye.
Yeah, literally. It does. It sounds like some sort of medical condition.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, he said, first time I had to do it, it was me and Melissa Benoist to play Supergirl. And it was like a crossover thing where they were like walking in circles around each other and zipping at each other. And he said, the more ridiculous you do it, the better it will look. So they were pretty much going like this. And it's really ridiculous. Like in the show, it looks really good. But let me do it for you right now.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, can we have your best impression right now? Oh
right?
My gosh. I feel it. That was intense, dude. That was great.
There it is. There's a bit of the angry one. I like
yes. It. Oh my God. We're in the presence of greatness right now, TJ.
Last one. You've just been abducted. You're brainwashed. You're going against your father. You're mad. You're angry. Give us your best I'm trying to take my dad down.
The Zeta row, you have to like kind of stand like this and just. Yes. You know, that was really fun as well. That was Tom Cavanaugh, who plays I forgot his name, Flash. Wow, I'm blanking here. Who is Tom Cavanaugh playing the Flash in the wheelchair? Henry Wells.
Wells. Yeah. I was like, how do I word this? Because he's played 17 different characters in the Flash so far.
Well, I was just
going to say Thrawn.
So I called the directors before the episodes, and the one I had with Tom Cavanaugh was like, how am I going to, my goal in this is to make it so that if there was no special effects and no sound, you would be able to tell when it's Jordan and when it's Zeta. And this is for season 15, episode 15, season 1 finale. And he said, well, at one point I had to play like 17 different characters, and one would have a beret and a baguette and be a Frenchman. And then another one would be, another one would be a proper Englishman. And then the other one, I'm like, well, at least I don't have to do that, because that seems really hard. Only Tom Cavanaugh could pull that one off.
He had a wild arc where he was just like 6 different people in the same episode for like a full season.
I mean, it's not even like realistic. But, one of the things that we worked out was that he was possessed. So we were going to do very neutral and almost expressionless. And one of the shots that we got that we were really proud of was like, he goes, on this one, I want it so that Jordan, your body is Zeta, but Jordan kind of pops out through your eyes and then it comes back and it's Zeta again. And I go, how the hell am I supposed to do that?
Yeah, that's...
I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And he's like, no, I believe in you. It was he's such a kind guy. I really like that guy. I believe in you. So we do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll need like 5 takes. This was the first time I got to ask for more takes because I was over the pumpkin age, which is you're no longer under the child labor law jurisdiction. So you get to stay on set longer. So I was very happy with being able to take my time and not just do 1 take on my coverage. So I was like, okay, we'll need like 5 takes. I do it once. He was like, try it again. I heard the hope leave his voice. And then I do it again. And I'm like, I think I'll need a 3rd one. He goes, no, that was perfect. That was it. You got it. That was genius. And then everyone started clapping. I was like, yes,
validation. Oh my gosh, that's
somebody
amazing.
play that back for me so I can keep doing it, because I have no idea what just happened.
No idea what just happened. I looked at it. It looked pretty good. It looked like it looks like Zeta was there, and then it was like little scare Jordan, and then Zeta was there again. It really did work.
It's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, it came in clutch. I don't know how I managed that one, but that one I was pretty proud of when it came out.
Best not to ask questions and just.
When you got that natural talent and it comes out, just don't question it. You did it on purpose.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It's great.
Natural talent, natural stupidity. I got it all.
Yeah, there you go.
we got a lot of that over here as well.
So one of the great parts about Superman and Lois is there's a crazy amount of lore to pull from the CW Arrowverse with all these different crossovers, but also from the comics. And they've done a ton of that with a bunch of different people from Krypton, with Bizarro. Have you been kind of led in a direction and said like, hey, maybe read this comic with John Kent or Connor Kent, something like that, to kind of give you some inspiration of what your character might be doing going forward?
So, not exactly that, right? I have been assigned reading, not by anyone on the show, but I was asking for it. I never actually did it, but I was at a Comic-Con once, and there's a guy who was actually a professor in comic books, one of the leading experts of comic books.
Was his name Travis Langley?
I think it was. Wait, is he like a white dude?
Yeah, we had him on our podcast because he just did Batman and Psychology book, and that was our Batman primer episode.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah, he's the man.
Like a list. I think that's him. I want to make sure it is. But he gave me like a long list of ones to read. I didn't do it. I should have. I mean, our show really likes to take from, the comic books are our alphabet. You know what I mean? Right. They're the alphabet that we're writing in. And the writers really like to make their own new sentences and words and everything else out of it. I have been told which way my character's going. No, I will not spoil it.
We don't want that here.
You know, occasionally we get the arc of the character, and it changes and it develops, and the writers have their way with it. This writing team's really good. This writing team is really, I think, in the end of the day, the cinematography and the writing and my co-stars, they all just really shine. So it's great to hear what they have to say and how they work as well.
Are you able to be intertwined in the writing process a little bit and kind of have input on where your character goes and stuff like that?
Occasionally they'll ask me vernacular stuff, right? Because, none of them are 18. I'm the youngest one in the cast by 2 years.
Wow.
Jordan's 2 years older than me. About to be 3 years older than me. So, last year when I was 17, I was doing this. There would be occasional vernacular things that we could change. I mean, I wouldn't dare go to the writer's room and demand anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel very lucky that they're writing me what they're writing me. You know what I mean? They are extremely collaborative, though. This group of people, they are very open to hearing what we have to say. Occasionally, ideas that the actors come up with end up in the show, which is amazing as well. So we'll see. See for sure. Maybe I'll get some ins.
Awesome.
That's really awesome. And not speaking from Jordan's perspective, but Alex's perspective. I want to know two things. If you could cross over with anyone from the CW, who would you want to see your character cross over with? But also, do you want John to get powers? Do you want, is that fun to just be to have that over your friend outside of work and inside of work? Do you want your brother to get powers?
I don't think it's anything that we're holding over one another. I think Jordan would probably be Jordan who plays Jonathan, Jordan Elsas, probably be one of the first people to tell you that. I don't think he really wanted Jonathan to have powers. I mean, a lot of what this show is the family drama aspect. You know what I mean? It's probably the reason why your mom watches it, is that there's this grounded family in the center of it. And I don't know, maybe the writers will take it in that direction, but I think it's kind of a beautiful idea having the extraordinary people in that super family, or whatever Lois Lane said. You know what I mean? That line very beautifully written by my dear friend Christy. I believe it was in her episode. I don't know if she wrote that exact line. I think it's really good to have him there to ground the kid's storyline. Then again, I'm not a writer. I did not make these decisions. I'm certainly very happy with what my character's doing, and I'm happy for that. And I think Jordan's happy with what his character's doing as well. So that's very nice.
That's all we can ask for at the end of the day, right?
At the end of the day, we got a paycheck, and we get
So who would you like to see your character cross over with the most? Would it be somebody from Flash, Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, whether it be in a team up or a fight?
Well, I mean, okay. The writer in me, even though I'm not a writer, the writer in me really wants to see him, even though it's not in the Arrowverse. I know that the DC character would be Bruce Wayne. I think Jordan, someone who had a very strong family unit, but at the same time suffered personally. And, he had a lot, he has a social anxiety disorder, and he tends to blow up. At least he used to. Now he doesn't anymore as much. He's matured a lot. But I think a lot of his inner doubts would be very beneficial talking to Bruce Wayne about. Bruce Wayne is someone who he lost his family at quite a young age, and he's had to be tough his whole life. I think they probably would have a lot to learn from one another, and it'd be quite a different relationship. As for the actor in me who just wants to meet the coolest person possible, I think it would really be cool to meet Grant Gustin. I mean, I have not met him yet. I met Steve Amell. He's a cool guy. I've met Tom Welling. I met a lot of these guys, even though Tom Welling's Smallville, but you know what I mean?
Weirdly enough, I was thinking this earlier in the episode. You very much look like you could have been Tom Welling's son in a Superman and Lois show.
I'll take that as a compliment. That guy's handsome is all heck.
Yeah. It was definitely meant as a compliment.
As can be.
Oh man, I'll take that. Or even Tyler. I mean, not even Tyler. Tyler's ridiculously handsome too. I remember I was looking. I said this to him. I made everyone laugh. We were doing this scene the other day out on the farm, and it was sunset, and his face was lit perfectly. He was standing there doing the serious Superman head And I just looked back at him, and it was in the middle of the scene. I was like, damn, that guy's really good looking. Oh my God.
We were doing a podcast the other week, and our friend who is married legitimately said, I would leave my wife for Robert Pattinson when we were talking about the Batman. And so, we understand it definitely, we understand.
It's the feeling I have about Andrew Garfield.
There you go. So keeping the crossovers going, if you could join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who do you think would be a good person for you to show up as?
Okay.
There's a lot of options now. We got the multiverse and stuff. So
okay. Wait, Marvel. What Marvel character would I like to What Marvel character would I like to play?
Yeah.
I'm
outside of that. Yeah. So okay, you continue.
Yeah. No, I'm a New York kid. Queens is my favorite borough. My dad's from Queens. All of my friends are from Queens. It would have to be Spider-Man.
Oh,
it would
gosh.
be a dream come true. That being said, who knows? But it would be a dream come true to play Spider-Man. I mean, I think having, they've been using a little too many Brits. Okay. I don't think this, but they need a real New York blood in that role. All right. They
Kevin Feige, listen.
Yes. I mean, they really need the guy. Spider-Man should be swinging off the things and looking all handsome into the sunset, but he also should be cutting people off in traffic. He's a New Yorker.
This is a great elevator pitch. This is an incredible elevator pitch.
Oh, I love that so much. And I mean, with the amount of Spider-Verse stuff they're doing, you never know. It could happen.
Who knows? Maybe I'll go out there in the Spider-Man suit. And anyone could play Spider-Man. I remember seeing a little interview with Stan Lee. He goes, one of the most beautiful things that I appreciate about Spider-Man, and it wasn't even intended at the time, is that he's covered head to toe. So anyone can imagine themselves as Spider-Man. Anyone can be Spider-Man. It could be, technically it could be Spider-Woman, but you know what I mean? Any person could play Spider-Man. That's kind of great. But having a real New Yorker in there would be pretty fun.
I love that.
Yeah, that would be. I like that a lot. So before we let you get out of here, obviously we want to keep it spoiler free, but there's no episode of Superman and Lois this week. It's a week off, but we know there are some big things coming. We're leaving on a bit of cliffhanger scenario. And just even if you look at episode listings, the ones that are listed right now, it just looks as though things are about to pick up in a big way for a second half of the season. What can you tease for us that's coming for the show and your character without giving any spoilers?
You will see Jordan begin to take on new responsibilities and in a different way. Those responsibilities are, I'm not going to spoil what they are. They could be big, they could be small, but they are new responsibilities. You'll see them mature. You'll see some super stuff happening with everyone. It starts to get crazy. It really starts to get crazy this season. They went all out. Especially around 9, 10 out, it really starts to pick up. Episode 8 is also going to be a lot of surprises to do with my character, John's character, even a little bit of Sarah stuff. So, there's a lot to look forward to. Honestly, the second half of the season is going to be a lot more fun to watch even than the first. And that's saying something because the first half of the season kicked ass.
Yeah, it definitely did. And it's kept both me and my mom on the edge of our seats. And I mean, it might have to be on the same seats now. I didn't know she was watching it, so we'll have to start watching it together. Superman and Lois is about family dynamics, and it's going to bring mine even closer together.
That's really sweet. That's what we wanted to do. So I'm glad it's working.
It definitely is working.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been an absolute blast. Good luck with the rest of the season and hopefully season 3 and whatever else is coming.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, can't wait to see where you go for the rest of your career. And thanks for coming on and chat with us.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much.
That will conclude our exclusive interview with Alex Garfin from Superman and Lois. Make sure you check out season 2 and the exciting stuff that they have going on. If you're watching this video on YouTube, help us combat the YouTube algorithm overlords. It's the only way you can help us get going. So if you like our content, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're listening in podcast form, leave us that 5-star rating, write us a nice little review. It truly does help us so much, more than you know.
And we lost all of our previous ones. So
exactly.
It's looking a little bare out there.
We had the nice 4.9 star rating with like 80 different ratings.
We had 100
whole bunch
ratings.
of written reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It's a tough pill for us to swallow. So please help us out and go back and subscribe on Apple and Spotify, and then on Apple Podcasts, just leave us that 5-star review in that rating. And if you already did it, just please do it one more time. We would appreciate that.
Thank you so much. We love you 3,000. And make sure to check out our Twitter page at Agents Fandom, because it is the final 4 of Marvel Madness. Our producer, Ruben, took me out. Ned leadsing the way with Tobey Maguire. Get out of here. Rumor has it, Ruben started about 25 different burner accounts and voted for himself on all of them.
Ruben is the Kevin Durant of our Marvel Madness.
Yeah, we're going to have to look into those votes and make sure they were legit. But regardless, he's moving on to the finals. So vote for our guy. We want him to win. We're also going to be breaking down that brand new Ms. Marvel trailer that came out earlier this week. We're going to be breaking it down later. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like all of our socials at Agents Fandom on Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else, so that you have all of that. That will do it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.